So that was a pretty incredible Super Bowl, I'd say, in my opinion. I don't want to say one of the better ones. We've been treated with a lot of great ones in the last decade, two decades.
For sure.
So,
compared to last year's, it's
much better. And I don't want to be one of those guys that, begs for there to be 90 points scored in the game or else the Super Bowl sucks. But, I could definitely see why somebody wouldn't enjoy last year's. So what were your kind of takeaways from the game, the big game, Super Bowl 54, 100th NFL season?
Well, a couple things. I think the 49ers, I think both of these teams are headed in the right direction. They're both young, both have a lot of talent. 49ers are going to be good for a very long time. Chiefs are going to be good for a very long time. I just think that in order for the 49ers to get to that next level, they're going to need better quarterback play. Whether that's Jimmy G, becoming better, I don't know if that's even possible, or just getting a new quarterback. I think that's what's holding him back. Kyle Shanahan did everything he could to have that team win. They looked pretty good for the most part. Everything looked good other than Jimmy G, really. Jimmy G didn't look too well. That offense looked kind of sloppy for the most part.
Right.
The Chiefs offense looked sloppy too, and they still got it done.
Yeah, well, they looked awful. Patrick Mahomes did not look good through three quarters.
Yeah.
And I'd say Shanahan's getting a lot of heat for.
I don't think he deserves it.
He would have gotten heat no matter what. Either they're going to run the ball too much or they pass it too much. Like, it's always going to be overanalyzed by the public. But at the end of the game, we saw those replays. We saw those plays to George Kittle and Deebo Samuel where they were wide open. They were schemed wide open. Shanahan found a weakness.
Like always.
And those guys were wide open. Like, you couldn't ask for it any easier for Jimmy G on those specific plays.
I'm telling you, there was other plays like that too.
So he's been hitting those layups. It's a layup, and he's been hitting those layups all year, and he didn't do it on Sunday.
He missed the biggest throw of the game to Emmanuel Sanders,
and that one too as well. That wasn't even one that I was talking about, but yeah, that was a big one.
That's a game changing.
And it's not necessarily a layup, but it's.
Dude, Sanders had
he had a couple yards
of separation.
Yeah.
He was open.
Right.
A good quarterback puts that right in the money. They get that touchdown. They take the lead.
For sure.
It's a different game.
So I don't really know what more you could ask from Kyle Shanahan other than the first half. I think there was some clock mismanagement there, not calling the timeout with.
I didn't understand that.
But like I said, I feel like this is just my opinion, but Jimmy G, Shanahan made it so easy for him yet again, and he couldn't capitalize this time. It's unfortunate. And now Kyle Shanahan's got to shake that perception about him, kind of like Andy Reid had to this year.
He's still young, so he still got plenty of time in the league. The 49ers are still going to be amazing next year. I think they're probably going to win the division again next year. So I just think that Jimmy G is holding that team back.
So you think the 49ers are going to be very good for a very long time?
I think they're going to be good for a long time. If they can keep the defense together for the most part. I know Sherman's aging, but their D-line's really young. Their linebackers are young. And their secondary's good. Their secondary's pretty young besides Sherman. So, I don't know. I think they're going to be good again next year, but I just think Shanahan makes it so easy for that offense. Everyone eats in that offense. They had Raheem Mostert come in, who's been cut by, what was it, 6 teams? However many teams it was. This man came in and just balled.
Right.
He looked good. And it's Shanahan. It's not really anything else. And, again, they need a quarterback that can help the team out when Shanahan is, not fully there, kind of like in the first half.
Right.
And Jimmy G's not the guy.
So, I disagree with you about the 49ers being great long term, and that's because we always seem to think that a team is going to be good for the next decade to come.
Oh, I'm not saying
they're going to get back to the Super Bowl, but oftentimes it doesn't end up happening, and that's because there comes a breaking point where you have to pay all those guys that got you to where you first were, to that Super Bowl appearance. So, when when all those guys got to get paid, like Nick Bosa and DeForest Buckner and Eric Armstead, when those guys get paid, you're going to have to make some tough decisions.
Yeah.
And that's going to leave you with some weak spots on your team. You know, when you're going to have to pay Debo Samuel in a few years.
Yeah.
When you got to – George Kittle just got – oh, no, he's about to get paid, right?
He's about to shift the market, I think.
Yeah, he's going to destroy it. And, some of those offensive linemen, like McGlinchey, his contract should be up soon.
Yeah, and I think when all those contracts come up, they're going to have to really look in the mirror and just be like, what do we do about Jimmy G? He's not worth the money they're paying him, I don't think, personally. I know 49ers fans like the guy, but I don't know, man. I feel like he's the main problem on that team. They look really good besides that. Kyle Shanahan makes these running backs, they don't even need to pay a running back. They can just get someone else.
Yeah.
That's what they've done. They just got 3 running backs, and they just throw them all in there.
So with the Chiefs, this is an example of why I think the 49ers won't have a decade plus of success. Well, one being that dynasties, I don't want to call them a dynasty, but projected dynasties don't usually pan out how we think they will.
Mm-hmm.
And one big reason is the quarterback position and how Kansas City's quarterback masks so many issues on the team. Like the 49ers were the far better, more complete team.
For sure. They had the most complete team in the league, I think.
The better pass rush, the better secondary, the better run defense.
Better linebackers.
Better linebackers, yeah.
For sure.
They had their offensive line's pretty good.
Yeah. Both their offenses are very similar.
Their weapons are not bad. Like, you have George Kittle, Debo Samuel, Emmanuel Sanders. They don't
Kenyon
compare.
Bourne,
Kendrick Bourne, yeah. He had a good game. He led them in receiving.
He did.
And so, like I said, you got to pay those guys. You got to pay at some point. Like, remember what happened with the Seahawks, with the Legion of Boom, and all the players that they had. They had to make some tough decisions and had to let a lot of guys walk, and were never the same at some point.
And now they're getting carried by their quarterback.
And now exactly.
Yeah.
They paid their quarterback, and he's the one carrying them,
which the Niners don't have.
And look how many deficiencies that the Seahawks have.
And they still made it.
And they won a playoff game.
Yeah.
And they were one game very close to an NFC Championship appearance with a bad defense, a bad offensive line.
But when you have a quarterback like Russell Wilson, you mask those problems.
Exactly.
That's why the Chiefs are, I think, going to be sent for a while.
I'm telling you this right now. The Kansas City Chiefs are going to be a dynasty. And I'm not going to use that term lightly. They're going to win 4 of the next 10 championships.
4 of the next 10.
4 of the next 10.
Not including this one. Or including this one.
Both.
So they're going to win 5, including this one, 5 of the next 11. You have them winning 5 Super Bowls.
Yes.
That's insane.
You're gonna be so sick and tired of Patrick Mahomes in 5 years.
No, first of all, I'll never be sick of Patrick Mahomes.
Yes, you will.
No,
you're gonna be sick and tired of him in 5 to 10 years.
The thing is, though, I don't know, man. Dynasties, they're hard to tell. It's hard to tell what team's going to be a dynasty. And the Chiefs definitely have the team for it. They have the quarterback for it. They have the coach for it.
Mahomes is about to be locked up long term.
They're forever.
He's obviously going to be there forever, probably. Tyreek Hill is locked up, or he's going to be. What's his? Tyreek Hill. No, I'm pretty sure his contract's coming up.
He's gonna get paid. What about Kelsey? Needs to get paid also. I'm pretty sure Kelsey needs to get paid. They just re-signed Tyreek Hill, didn't they? Last year, okay. That's right. Oh, I remember that. Yeah. Wow. 3 years, $54 million. So he's locked up for the next 2 years. Travis Kelce, he's going to get paid. Him and Kittle are both going to get paid.
Right.
Crazy money.
Right. I'd have to see who else is under contract, but I'm pretty sure a lot of their core is under contract.
You know what's a really cool stat that I saw was the last. Well, I guess now it's 3. The last 3 Super Bowl winners have had amazing tight ends. If you think about it, you have Philly was 3 years ago, I believe. So you had Zach Ertz, and then you had Gronk, and now you have you had Kittle or Kelsey, and of course, tight end can only make so much of a difference, but I think a tight end is actually becoming a more important position in football. If you think about it, tight ends now.
It's hard to say.
They do more than just block now. Now they're some of these teams' best receivers. Like they're the 49ers' best receiver.
Right. You're talking about like there's not that many guys like George Kittle or Travis Kelce in the league right now.
There's only like 3 or 4.
Like I honestly wouldn't even consider Ertz in that class. I don't want to say in that class. He's an elite tight end, but I definitely consider Travis Kelce and George Kittle to be an easy choice for me.
Yeah.
As to who's.
So where do you? I mean,
let me see. Tyreek Hill's locked up until 2023. You got the young guys too, like Mecole Hardman. Travis Kelce is going to be a free agent.
But that's what the great thing about this Chiefs team is, and I mean, I guess I can see where you're coming from. Is they take these receivers and they just plug them in, and they work every time. So if they don't want to pay someone, like if they don't want to pay Sammy Watkins or they don't want to pay Mecole Hardman, you just get the next guy.
Oh man, I'm looking at Frank Clark's contract right now. That's a rough one. He's going to be getting paid $23 million next year. Frank Clark.
He's getting paid how much?
$23 million.
And you called Aaron Donald's contract bad.
No, this one's really bad.
That one's bad.
This one's bad.
$23 million.
Most of their guys are expiring in 2022. They did this without Juan Thornhill too, who was a big bright spot on defense. So I think the Chiefs are just started something.
Yeah, I mean they have
who can. Like I said, I've been saying it all year that the Chiefs. I put money on them to win it. Like a while ago, and it's just like their offense is matchup proof. It doesn't matter what defense they're playing. At some point, like the reason they weren't doing well was not mostly because of San Francisco's defense. It was because they weren't executing. Like you saw the interception to the slant to Tyreek Hill.
Oh, yeah.
He was wide open. Yeah. It was just a bad throw. And it hit his hand.
The other interception was just a bad read. He just threw it right to the linebacker.
So it's more like defenses stopping good offenses doesn't happen that much as offenses stopping themselves. You know what I mean?
Which is why we've been preaching that you need a quarterback to win a Super Bowl, man. You can't just win a Super Bowl with them.
Unless everything else is like perfect. Like Jimmy G.
Everything else was perfect.
It was perfect. He had,
and they still lost.
They still lost.
So I mean, you can. I don't know, man. I still think the Niners are going to be good for another 3 or 4
Like,
years.
Who do you see as long-term threats to the 49ers?
In the NFC?
In the next 5 years, yeah.
Well, I mean, I would hope the Rams, but who knows with all these contracts we have. I think Seattle can get it. I think Seattle, I mean, dude, just our division in general. Our division is pretty deep. The Cardinals are still a young team, and they found their quarterback. I think Kyler Murray's going to be really good. And I think, Seattle has Russell Wilson. That's all you really need. And they just made the playoffs with one of the worst defenses I've seen. And
they played the Niners tight 2 times.
And they almost do. They almost
beat them once. They beat them once.
And then the last week of the season, they almost won the
division.
They
were literally like a foot away from having a bye.
Yeah. So, our division is going to be really tough. And but I still think the Niners are the best overall team in the division. Outside of the division, I like the Packers going forward. I think the Packers are going to be a very good team. They're going to be a very good team for the future. Yep. If the Bears can get a damn quarterback, please, Chicago, please get rid of Trubisky. Jesus Christ,
trade for Cam.
Get anyone, dude. I don't care who you get. Just get rid of Trubisky. Goddammit.
Yep.
Who else we have? I don't know.
I'm trying to think right now. Like
the Vikings are still a good team. I think the Vikings will be good.
Yeah.
Fair
enough.
That division's nice.
They just lost. They just promoted Kubiak to offensive coordinator.
What's it? Zimmer's been praising.
Yeah, he loves him some Kubiak.
Yeah. So
who else?
The NFC is still a very good.
Saints is going to be tough. They got to find a quarterback of the future.
Which they said Taysom Hill.
No.
I don't know.
There's no way. Hey man, you never know. Sean Payton might be creative enough.
Atlanta always has
Atlanta with Dan Quinn. I have no.
They always have high hopes, but until I see something different, I don't know about them.
Dan Quinn, I can't believe they kept him another year.
Yeah,
honestly.
And then the NFC East. I mean, Dallas is. I think Dallas is going to be good for the long term.
Dallas has their offensive line locked up long term, so
they're still young. Their quarterback's young. The running back's young. The receivers are still good.
Well, we'll see if they keep Dak.
They should keep Dak. I think they will. They're going to get rid of. I don't think Amari's going to be there next year, though.
He had his best year, man. I think, in my opinion, and he was hurt for.
Yeah. Philly. I mean, dude, Wentz's injury problems are really starting to bother me. Like, I just don't.
I mean,
know.
he was healthy this year.
Yeah, until the playoffs.
What do you mean? He got hit in the back of the head.
I know. I mean, fluke shit like that happens, though. That's what I'm saying.
That has nothing to do with being injury prone. He literally got destroyed in the back of the head. Man, he got the back of his neck. Are you kidding me? He took a helmet to the back of his neck.
I want to see a full healthy season, including playoffs. And then
he just did. He just did have a full healthy season. He didn't even miss a game, did he?
No, and then I don't know, man. The Giants. I'm sorry, I don't see the Giants doing anything. Skins. I don't see the Skins being good for another like. I mean, I actually have the Skins being better than the Eagles next year, but I don't think. I still think they're a couple pieces away from being a complete team, like a playoff team. So, I mean, if I had to choose someone in the NFC that would give them trouble, it's just stay in the NFC West, a lot of those teams, and then the
probably
Packers.
Seattle, I guess.
The Packers.
I think
the Packers are going to be very good.
They have Zadarius Smith and Preston Smith.
They need another receiver.
Yep, they need a receiver.
Big time. They need to help out Devontae, dude. Yep. It's literally just Devontae out there.
I'm wondering, like, it's kind of clear to me that Aaron Rodgers has been regressing over the last year.
Yeah.
And so I want to see what they do to implement a quarterback plan for post Rodgers.
I don't know.
But they have a young secondary with some good, solid players there. They just drafted Darnell Savage. They got Kevin King. They have Jair Alexander, one of my favorite corners in the NFL.
I don't know. Those are the teams I see that would give them the most problems.
Oh, what's his name? Adrian Amos.
In the AFC, I guess I could see why you're saying the Chiefs are going to be so dominant. It's just like
who's stopping the Chiefs?
The only team I can really think of is the Ravens, and I don't think Lamar's going to have another year like he just had. I think Lamar's going to be good.
Yeah,
I just don't think he'll be this good. Like I don't expect someone to win MVP every year. Have an MVP season every year. Like that's not going to happen every year.
I think it's going to be like how Cam Newton had that fantastic amazing year.
Yeah.
One of the best years I've witnessed by a quarterback. Like, I mean, he's going to improve as a passer for sure.
And he did pass pretty well this year. I mean,
he definitely exceeded expectations.
For sure.
He improved from last year. But I just think that the way that the Tennessee Titans
another
play
team
them,
I really like going forward, and they just need to address the quarterback, is the Pittsburgh Steelers. I like the Steelers going forward a lot, actually. And I just think they're going to have Ben next year. So next year, I mean, we'll see. I think next year's going to be Ben's last year. So we go after that. They need to address quarterback. So depending on who they get, that could be an interesting team. They're young on defense. Their defense is good.
Who else you got in the AFC? The Broncos.
I do like the Broncos.
I like the Broncos moving forward as well.
And they're in the Chiefs division, so they'll give them some problems.
I just don't see them as a huge threat to the.
Yeah.
Like I don't see
especially
anybody
like immediately, next year.
Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see anybody stopping the Chiefs consistently.
The Ravens is the only team I can really think of that can like give them problems next year, especially in the playoffs.
With the run game too,
dude.
Chiefs still aren't.
The Patriots.
Good against the run.
I don't know about the Patriots, man. The way Brady looked this year, I don't think it's getting any better. So that team, I think that dynasty's done now. That ship sailed.
On to the next dynasty, the Kansas City Chiefs.
Stay in the NFC, I guess.
They're going to Thanos snap the entire league.
Yeah. That team, actually, man, now that I think about it, that team's pretty freaking good. And there's really not many teams in the AFC that I can think of. If you guys think of any AFC teams that we missed, please, if you want to tell us any teams you think are going to compete with Kansas City, please inform us and tell us why, at least.
Let me see. I mean, you got Deshaun Watson, the Texans. I don't think they have enough around him.
The Texans need more defensive. They need more defensive players. Their defense is not all that yet.
Their offensive line significantly improved this year.
They did improve, but I think they should add a little more.
No, I don't think so because
you know what they need? They need another receiver. Because Will Fuller is never freaking healthy. They need someone there.
Yeah, I would go with maybe a tight end. A tight end would be good. They haven't had a tight end
and a running back. I mean, Lamar Miller's good, but or not even Lamar Miller. Was it Lamar Miller? Was it running back? Who the hell was a running back this year?
Duke Johnson. They had Duke Johnson and.
That's my point. Go get a running back. At least someone that can.
Come on, man. Running backs. Who cares about running backs?
I know that, but I know the stat.
You want to pull? You want to?
I can read it if you want.
Running backs do not matter.
Super Bowl winners.
Exhibit 3045.
The leading rushers in the Super Bowl game for the winning team were these players dating back from 2010. So I'm going to start in 2010 was when the Saints won it. Pierre Thomas was the running back. Then you have 2011. The Packers won it. James Stark.
Well, how much were they getting paid?
Oh, I didn't even write down all. I can tell you who the highest paid player. 2014, Percy Harvin was the leading rusher for the Seattle Seahawks. He was the highest paid player on this entire list, and he got paid $2.5 million. And he was a wide receiver.
So keep going. What's the list?
So after Percy Harvin, so you have Pierre Thomas, James Stark. Then 2012 you have Ahmad Bradshaw. 2013 you have Ray Rice. 2014 Percy Harvin, who $2.5 million was the highest salary on this entire list. Then you have. This is where it gets really weird. You have LeGarrette Blount in 2015. C.J. Couch Anderson in 2016, and then it goes LeGarrette Blount in 2017, LeGarrette Blount in 2018, Sonny Michel in 2019, and then this year you have Damian Williams.
Right.
So yeah, I understand you don't need like a big name running back, but you need someone like decent.
You know, Damian Williams has, I think it's 11 touchdowns
in the playoffs, right?
In his first 6 playoff games.
Yeah.
How incredible is that?
That's crazy. And okay, so going back to what I was saying about Patrick Mahomes,
right?
The reason why I think that they would not have won the game without him is when you play the Chiefs, you never stack the box. First of all, you never pay attention to the running game ever. So even though Patty had a bad game, Patty opened up holes for Damian Williams. He had 17 rushes, 104 yards, and a touchdown. So if Patty Mahomes isn't on the Chiefs, they're not winning that game. I don't care who you put in there, dude.
That's not true at all. How is it true? Okay, how can you say that he played like garbage for 3 quarters and then say, yeah, there's no way they would have won without him? Because guess what? Yeah, they came back, but they wouldn't have been down 10 points with an average quarterback performance.
How do you know they could have been down more?
Because whoever was playing would have played better than him. He played like
if you take Patty Mahomes off the Chiefs and you put in Ryan Tannehill, they're not going to worry about the pass. They're not going to worry about passing the ball. They're going to stack the box. They're going to stop the run game and force the dude to throw. With Patty Mahomes, you're forcing that team to run the ball. And Patty Mahomes,
nobody cares about stopping the run, dude. Nobody cares about stopping the run.
Against the Titans,
they don't care. They don't care about stopping the run.
Against the Titans, people did.
Nobody cares about stopping the run.
There's a reason why the Chiefs are going to be.
Dude, you're saying that they weren't stacking the box, which is true, but also he missed so many throws, wide open throws, easy throws, layups, missed, which led to them being down 10 points in the fourth quarter. So if he doesn't miraculously play like himself in the fourth quarter, then they lose. And then you had 4 turnover-worthy plays in the game. 3 of which led to turnovers. He was careless with the football. Careless. One of the worst interceptions I've ever seen.
But Patty's been careless.
So just in that game, he played awful. Forget everything else. In that game, he did not play well. The 4 quarters, every single play, from a play-to-play basis, he did not play well at all. And that's okay. Like, he should be allowed to win once in a while by playing below average. It's fine. Everyone has a bad game. And it was his first Super Bowl, so.
I don't know.
Like, he played phenomenal against Tennessee. It was one of the best quarterback performances I've seen. But in the Super Bowl, he was very, very bad, in my opinion. And you could see that with. I mean, you could just rewatch it and see how many throws he missed and how many. 2 interceptions, 2 fumbles. That's not how you win football games. And their defense kept them in it. Their defense played well. Their defense held one of the best offenses in the league to 21 points. So they kept them in it, even though Mahomes did show up late.
Yeah, because the only thing you need to do to beat the Niners is stop the run. You stop the run, you're fine. And that's what they did.
Well, they're actually dating back. I think it's the last 4 years they're the most explosive passing offense in the league.
Yeah, but what did you say about explosive offense?
So the most 20-plus yard throws Most 20
it's,
plus.
It's like that stat with Tannehill. The Titans had the most explosive plays this year, or whatever.
Yeah, a lot of it came after the catch.
So I mean, you stop.
Like you have George Kittle, Deebo Samuel. They made some plays.
So yeah,
but it's really interesting. Like it kind of shows how great Shanahan is. Like this is a 4-year sample size. So this is talking about we have C.J. Beathard,
Nick Mullins,
and Jimmy G. Jimmy G's not as. I'm not trying to put him in the same category, but Nick Mullins and C.J. Beathard, the fact that they had that many explosive plays, 20-plus yards, it says a lot about Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah, I mean, one of the best coaches in the league still. So, regardless of what happened in the 2 Super Bowls.